Hello and welcome to the immediate post-match reaction on This Is Ibrox, where Rangers have defeated Dumbarton 4-1 in the Scottish Cup. I'm joined by Kyran Wallace. How are you doing today, Kyran?
I'm good. Routine victory for the Teddy Bears in what was horrible conditions, but delighted to be in the hat for the next round, and we move.
That's it, exactly. I was going to say, when I initially tuned into that game, I thought we were getting the sequel of Aquaman live on the Viaplay, but thankfully it turned out it was just Rangers playing in Dumbarton.
I don't think anyone got it when I put the meme of Kermit the Frog looking out the rainy window on the group chat.
It was very good, man. I could just imagine Dido playing in the background or something like that if any of the young the listeners are old enough to remember that. But yeah, what was your overall thoughts on that game, Kyran?
But it was a routine victory. I don't think we learned anything more than what we knew already. I actually think we played well. We kept at it. The tempo was good from the word go. Great to see Raskin get so much game time. Matondo, I thought, put in a good shift, good performance. Wee McCausland as well had a good game. And yeah, all in all, we've got to be satisfied with that. That's games that we expect to be scoring 4 goals and winning by 3. Perhaps a clean sheet maybe would have been a wee bit better, but I'm asking a bit much there. So glad the game went ahead. Horrible conditions from my playing days. They're games you just want to get over and done with as soon as possible with the right result. So, yeah, never learned anything different. We're still absolutely crying out for a goal scorer, a striker.
Yeah, that's it exactly. That all that's done is fuel, give fuel to the fire of that we need Lawrence Shankland, as if it wasn't already evident enough. But look, we'll get discuss about the lineups. But a couple of changes. I think we'd largely got this lineup right from the pod on Wednesday. But Rangers started with McCrory in goal, Tav, Goulton, Suter, Ridvan, Raskin and Lundstrom in the midfield, McCausland, Cantwell and Matondo with Dessers being the focal point. Very, very strong bench as well, I should add to that. What was your thoughts on that lineup, and maybe a word on McCrory in particular, and given what he had to do in that game?
Yeah, when I first seen the lineup, I thought it was very uninspiring. Like, I don't mean that. I mean that in the nicest possible way. Let's be honest, right? That front line's not good enough for us to go and win a league. And you see that come out. Okay, it's Dumbarton in the Scottish Cup. Like I said, routine game that we're expected to win, but that front line just does not inspire me at all. Sima, we've now had word that I think the statement said is out for a long period of unavailability that came from the Senegalese FA. Now, that is very, very worrying, considering that we've done little to no business this transfer window. So I'm sure we'll get onto that towards the end. But when I seen the lineup, yeah, it was what it was. It's good to see McCrory get some game time. Like I said, midweek, I know that Clermont really rates him highly. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with McCrory come from now until the end of the season, and then at the end of the season, because we all know that John McLaughlin's going to be on his way as well.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see going forward if he retains that place for all the cup games, given that Butland has been playing so well. But we've seen it done in the past that Rangers managers have had a cup goalkeeper, and I agree with you there. I was quite pleased to see such a strong lineup. Saw murmurings in social media of getting some of the youth team players. They've got experience here before, but nah, this is a game, as you said, you just want to get on and win it. We'll get into the opening 10, 15 minutes. I've written down here, good build-up play, finishing not so much. Given that pitch, I felt we were moving the ball about actually quite nicely. I felt he said going forward, getting into those areas was quite nice, but it was just that final third. I think who have I written down? A few of them had a shot. Cantwell, Matondo, and Dessers with 2. Dessers thought he took brilliant touches, but yeah, what did you make of that opening 10, 15 minutes, Kyran?
Yeah, I thought we were good. The tempo was good, but it's just the guy we've got in the number 9 slot that could not stick the ball in the net that first 15. I think the person most delighted with that first 15 would have been the boy in the car park behind the goal that's went up the road with 3 match balls.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And like, I get it that the pitch is like that, right? But teams like Dumbarton playing these pitches every week, like, you're a professional football player on 35,000 a week. You've got to be able to put that ball in the net there.
Yeah.
And listen, I said it at the top of the show there, we're still crying out for a goal scorer. I don't want a goal scorer that needs 6 or 7 chances before he eventually scores from a cross that could have been anybody on the end of it. We need somebody that's going to score 1 and 2, 1 and 3 chances. It must be better, and I think it's even more evident now that we need a goal scorer. But in terms of that first 15 minutes, we were creating chances, we were doing well. The conditions were horrible. But I thought the first 15 and throughout the full 90, I thought Lundstram was excellent. He said it himself after the game, the attitude was spot on from minute one, and I think he epitomises that. It really gives us a bit of drive, and I think he sees himself as a clear leader now since Clement's came in, and it's good that I'd 100% give him another contract at the end of the season, although he needs to do more in the Old Firm games for me.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. You've brought me on to my next point nicely here. It's obviously the goal that Big Bad John scores around about the 35-minute mark. A couple of interesting things to note here was firstly Cantwell taking the corners. I can't remember Cantwell ever taking the corner. It was confirmed post-match that Lundstram said that it was something that they were working on in training. It was music to my ears. I nearly jumped off the couch when I was watching it when I heard that we were working on set pieces in training. But yeah, it was a really clever run by Suter. We've sort of seen plays like that before. Maybe Aribo going in at the near post, flicking it on behind, and yeah, it was just a good finish from Lundstram. What did you make of that goal? And as you said, maybe expand upon a wee bit about Lundstram's good play overall.
Yeah, very reminiscent of, like you say, spot on there. Aribo, if you ever remember the really important goal for 55 when Aribo flicked on and McGregor put it into his own net, and you had the one at Parkhead that Morelos scored at the back post. It's something that we've done for a long time, and I know it's a cliche in football when supporters get really frustrated at front post corners getting cleared like very quickly. If I'm right in saying this, I think it's statistically proven that corner kicks swung in at the front post have a higher percentage of being scored from, so you can see why we're doing it. Like, I do get why the dinosaurs complain, because it can be very frustrating that it's not swung right on top of the keeper, right into the mixer. There's got to be thought and methodology behind this, so there is a reason teams do it. And I liked the corner from Cantwell. I thought it was right on the money. I thought it was a great delivery, and credit to Lundstram as well. His timing of his runs to perfection.
Yeah, no, as you said, it was a good goal, and is glad to see something that Rangers have worked on in training actually coming to fruition in a competitive game. The next goal, we've already touched on this man already a wee bit, but he makes it 2-0 Rangers. Tav gets his obligatory assist. Good first touch, rolls up, sets it up nicely just for the cross, treating it almost like a free kick. And again, he's right on the money. And I thought this was a really good finish from Dessers, just peels off behind the boy and touches it in. But he needs to do that more often than not. He needs to be more clinical. Great goal, but needs to be more clinical.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent movement, good striker play, getting round the back of the guy, good anticipation to just knock the ball in the opposite direction. But again, it's the good, the bad and the ugly with him. If you rewind 5 minutes before that, I'm sure it's Matondo or Ridvan goes down that left-hand side. It's a square ball if he goes front post and there's two guys sliding in front of him. Basics, absolute basics that any striker should be muscling the defender to go front post there. Next cross we get, muscles the defender, gets round his blind side and knocks it in the net. Why not just pull all this together and do it properly?
Yeah.
It's really, really frustrating. It's getting to the point I'm just absolutely fed up looking at him.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. It's difficult because it's just, you wonder what he works on in training, and he's got it. I mean, even in the friendly game there against Copenhagen, I thought that was an excellent finish as well. Just nice, calm, composed. And I don't know if it's just he's got too much time to think about it, or he's still trying too hard. Like, I feel like if he just goes with the flow a wee bit more, that it would naturally come off for him a wee bit better. But he made it to 2-0, and an interesting stat I saw on social media just before we came on. I think he's only one goal behind Alfredo Morelos for his total tally of the season last year. So make of that what you will. The next point, Rangers just generally for the next sort of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, pretty comfortable, to be honest with you. Playing the ball well, exactly what you want to do in a cup tie like that. Tire them out, keep the ball off them. playing it along the ground and just sensible, good play, trying to break them down. It goes back to what you said earlier on about Lundstrom mentioning the attitude, because I thought that was spot on today. There was quite a few subs. There was some sensible subs around 60 minutes. Jack Barisic and Lawrence all came on, and then 60 minutes, Fabio Silva came on as well. Then around the 76th minute, Rabi Matondo runs into the box, something that we saw the whole game, you know, a bit of pace. I'm just going to ask you, was it a penalty or was it not a penalty for you?
Yeah, that's a penalty. I think Matondo does really well to get his body between man and ball and then insinuate the contact. I don't even know if that's the right word. Anyway, I don't even care. Saturday night.
Initiate.
Initiate. There we go. Insinuate. I am completely wrong there. I'm miles off it. I'm a bit tired. I think he does really well here. I think he needs to do more of this and make the defender commit. I think the defenders panicked a wee bit and just tried to get the toe poke on the ball. And I actually think it's really good from the referee, considering there's no VAR in these games. It's good to see proper football again, where the referee makes his own mind up, gets the decision correct, and in the words of David Martindale, Tav does what Tav does.
Yeah, no, that's it exactly. He scored a penalty, and again, he's another guy that's one goal behind his total goal tally from last season already. And we're not even just over halfway, I think. So that's another great stat. But
sorry, Kyle, another stat on that. I think he's now only 3 goals off the all-time British goal scoring record for a defender. Graham Alexander currently holds that.
That's mental.
So you take his goal scoring and his assists, and it's unbelievable. But I read a stat earlier. I think it was guy that used to be with us, who's Rangers Journal now, brought up a stat that was saying that the top 20 players for goal contributions in Scotland, we've got 1, and it's Tavernier. That's not good enough. I think it comes down to clear goal scoring opportunities created, and we've got 1, and it's Tavernier. It needs to be more, and it can't be a right back.
Yeah, I totally agree. That is a bit of a scary stat. But I want to stick on Tav, because I thought he played very, very well today. But it seemed like he was in a bit more of a free roaming position at times. I felt that, Lundstrom was dropping. We've seen that before, where Lundstrom drops back and makes it a kind of 3. But I felt his positioning was dead interesting. He was so far up the pitch. That might be the furthest up the pitch I've ever seen him under Clement, actually. And at times, he was central as well. And there was a couple of times where he picked the ball up on the left-hand side. What did you make of that? And is that a role that you can see Tav, as you've just touched on there, he's our highest goal-scoring contributor for, however long it is. And is that going to help us? What did you make of Tav's new sort of role under Clement today?
I liked it, and I think it's something I touched on Wednesday night when we spoke about the team being away for a week together in La Manga and having the friendly against Copenhagen, that with this game against Dumbarton was the perfect game to then have a competitive match before we go into arguably one of our biggest games of the season against Hibs. That you can go into games like this and try things, for example, the set piece that we scored from at the start. And you can try things like this where we're trying to get our fullbacks a lot higher up the pitch, because Redvan was also very high up the pitch on the left side. Yeah. So it may be something that Clement said, that he's earmarked this game after La Manga, worked on it in training and said, the games that we play at Ibrox where teams turn up, put 11 men behind the ball with a low block, can we get guys further up the pitch, isolate fullbacks with 2-on-1 situations where you'll get guys like McCausland hitting the byline and Tavernier offering a different sort of service down that side. This is obviously something he's looked at where we can adapt, and Dumbarton being the perfect game to put that into place and say to Lundstrom, look, if he goes drop back into fullback. I remember it in Europa League run under Gio. He loved it a lot, where it was almost like Ryan Jack would drop into right back, or Lundstrom would drop into left back, and it was very clever, and a lot of people criticised us for having this huge gaping hole in the middle of the field, but it was purely tactical, and it worked a treat for us. And I think we may see something slightly similar, or a similar version of it under Clement. And he's a creative right back, and he's a hell of a player, Tavernier, because his strengths aren't defending. We know that. His strength is in his creativity and his goal scoring. So why not play to the players' strengths? We're going to need everything we can get.
Yeah, that's it exactly. It seems like they've worked on a lot in La Manga, and you could see elements of it in that game. The attitude seems to be right. You know, tough conditions as well, and we still looked uber fit at the end of that. You know, I think we
Yep.
could have played another 90 minutes and still been fine as well, which is good to see. Look, the final action point of the game, and I was laughing so much at this when you put in the group chat, it's no Hampden. But Scott Wright steps up. It's a lovely ball from Ross McCausland, plays it right through him onto the on-run right, takes it through the goalkeeper, and he basically, I think about 2 minutes before this, he had Dessel's boots on and sclaffed a shot about 20 yards over the bar. This head down, body over the ball, and just smashed it right at the goalkeeper. I thought this was actually a pretty good goal as well, Kyran.
I know. Could you believe he's 100 appearances for Rangers? That's insane, man.
No.
And can we be honest? Has he progressed in any of these since coming?
No.
I don't know, but I think it backs up a point where that squad needs strengthened. It's just not good enough to go and win what we're still in. There's only so, like, fair play to him, right? I hate to criticise him after a goal like I've done with Dessers already tonight, but he needs to contribute more. It just needs to contribute more. Like, there's a player in there, I fully believe that, but I couldn't believe it. I think it was Craig said he's 26. That's your peak years as a football player. You're coming into your peak years. He should have bags experience under his belt, and I just don't see him having a long-term future at Rangers. I mean, who knows? He's still under contract, and there's a lot to go at the end of the season, so he may survive just yet. But we need so much more out of Scott Wright, just not just at Hampden in the Scottish Cup games. A lot of players need to step up for us. Scott Wright being one of them, who could be a real weapon for us and who could contribute to the squad pretty well. I don't know what you think about that one.
Well, you've used. I would use the word weapon in a slightly different way there to describe Scott Wright, Kyran, but that's another story for another time. I agree. He's just, for me, you know, a good squad player, but we need more than that at Rangers. We're looking for people to come in. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it in further podcasts up the line, but we need people to come in and go straight into the starting 11.
Yeah. Would that be bang out in saying that I like McCausland, but I feel that we should be good enough that he's a squad player too?
Listen, I get. It's almost like you've read my agenda already, because literally there's two players I want to talk about before we come on to man of the match and stuff. One of them is Ross McCausland. I thought he had a pretty good game tonight, but I see your point. His running's good, his direct's good, or his directness is good. You could see he had experience. He seemed very comfortable on that pitch tonight, but that's not surprising given that he had sort of 2 years experience there. But what did you make of young Ross McCausland tonight?
I like him. I do really like him. I think everything's fell into place for him. A case of taking your opportunity when it lands, and you do need a wee bit of luck at that level. And I had a conversation with one of my mates yesterday when Lowry came back, and I said I wouldn't mind keeping him because I rate him alongside McCausland. Although they both have completely different skill sets, I think he could offer something different coming off the right or the left. But I like McCausland. The best is yet to come from him. Still needs to progress. He's a young guy who's done excellent since he came in. But again, we need more. We need more there. I think he should be rotated in and out because we've seen this a lot with guys like, I'll use him as an example, Glenn Middleton. His first 10, 15 games for Rangers, done very well, progressed as a very good youth player, then got loaned out when he was phased out of the team and had a great loan spell at St Johnstone, and it looked like he'd come back and he'd kick on, but he didn't because he wasn't of the level. Now, we can't have McCausland going stale the way Middleton did and getting phased out at Rangers to go well and do better elsewhere. And I think for this season, I think there should be a bit more rotation there. Maybe we might see that with Scott Wright being back, but again, he's a squad player as well at present in current form.
And Clement said that exact thing when he came in. He said, I think he said that I don't care how old you are, if you're 27 or 37 or you're 17, like if you're good enough, you will play. But he set those expectations that Ross McCausland wouldn't play every game, and since he said that, he pretty much has. So I do agree with you there. But I thought he looked good tonight. And again, hopefully it's a first competitive game back, and you could see it. You could see he just wanted sharpness and minutes in a lot of those legs. But the last player I want to talk about before we go on to man of the match is we only saw 30 minutes of him, but again, very, very impressed by him was Fabio Silva.
Yep.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be a good acquisition for Rangers, and all he needs to do for me is just get in the score sheet, and I think that it's going to open up the spillway to goals, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the case. I just don't know if he's the 9 we're looking for. I don't know if he's going to score his 20 goals before the end of the season, and we need somebody that's going to do that. But he looks great on that half turn, sort of rolling defenders, taking them into that sort of that hole between defence and midfield. And yeah, I like him. I like the look of him. I will throw away my season ticket if it doesn't start on Wednesday night. I think he's got to lead the line on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Again, our fingers are crossed to see how bad this injury is for Sima, that Silva might turn out to be a shining light. But yeah, I hope he's the guy to lead the line in the short term, and the very hope that we get a goal scorer in before the end of the window, namely Lawrence Shankland, who I'd like to send out my best wishes that he gets well soon.
Gets well soon. I know. I hear there's a wee sweet at Ibrox that would make you feel a lot better in there. But yeah, look, that's just about it. But Kyran, before we go, just get your man of the match. The TV gave it to John Lundstrom. Did you agree with that, or did you have somebody else in mind?
Hard to disagree. I thought Raskin done well. I thought it was neat and tidy. He played some nice football, nothing forceful into the box. He was always looking for the openings. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Lundstrom. I thought smashing game, spot on attitude, like you said about the rest of the team, and pretty much been the case since Clement came in with him. What about yourself? Who have you got?
Oh, I thought McCausland was in for a shout with his good play. Had an assist today, but like you, John Lundstrom, I think is a fantastic shout. But I'm going to give it to Tav. I couldn't not. A goal and an assist. It's just absolutely getting ridiculous now. I thought he kept the team going. I thought it was a good captain's performance from him as well. And yeah, just a different role that I thought that he adapted really, really well to. So James Tavernier is my man of the match against Dumbarton. But listen, Kyran, thank you very much for joining me tonight. It was a routine game of football. Glad we won it. It was a job done. No dramas, no injuries, as you said, other than Abdullah Sima, which I'm sure Scott Patson will get onto the podcast tomorrow night, which is live at 8:30. So make sure you go and tune into that. But yeah, it was a job well done. I'm just thankful we got a win in those horrible, awful conditions. But thanks very much for joining us, Kyran.
No problem. Always my pleasure. I think we're back together on Wednesday night. I think it's me. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. I don't know what you've done to deserve it, but I think you're stuck with me for now until the end of the season.
The dream team. There's nobody the listeners would rather listen to 3 times in a week.
Shankland and Silva, is that what you're saying? The dream team?
I feel like I'm talking about the same thing every time I come on. We should sign Lawrence Shankland. This is terrible.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's it. We'll just clip that up for the next few Wednesdays and punt that out.
Yeah, but maybe we'll have news come Wednesday, mate. Fingers crossed.
That's it. I've got my fingers and my toes crossed for that one. But listen, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you all again soon.